Let's get wised up here with Jack's Corner.
Okay, workers. Okay, good morning, Egberto. How are you?
I'm fine, my brother. Talk to me.
All right. You workers out there, fighting a class war means asserting your worth to your supervisors. If they're making those record profits, they owe you more. If you can join a union, join one. Get yourself some representation. You work, you sweat. It's you that brings home the bacon. Respect yourself for that. Honor yourself. Stand up for yourself. Assert your worth.
Man, I tell you, Jack, I just wrote down one thing that you said. If they are making record profits, they're not paying you enough. My subject is about the workers to start with, right? But I never used that sentence before. And that is an important sentence that I think every single American should hear. If they are making record profits, they are not paying you enough because you're the one who does the work that allows them that record profits. Now, remember, they're going to come back with the converse. They're going to say, but if we don't make any profits, what does that say about you? And we can always say that, well, what happens already is that when they're not making these profits, they throw you out the door. So the other end always gets taken care of, but the part of them making record profits, instead of reinvesting in you and the jobs, that is the problem. Jack, perfect words. Anyway, folks, thank you as usual. I love that sentence.
I got cut off. I had a question for you, or really an observation.
Ahead. Yes.
If these companies are making record profits, aren't they responsible for corporate greed and inflation? You can hear this. They're called corporate greed deniers. There's no such thing as corporate greed, and they're not jacking up the prices because they can. Yes, they are.
We speak about that all of the times on this show proper when we say the following. I don't call it inflation. I call it the GCR, the corporate greed, the CGR, the corporate greed rate. And I would ask, look, any employer or every executive could come on our program if they want to try to prove this wrong, because they won't, because it's impossible. You nailed it. Inflation was not caused by the president. Inflation was caused because corporations found a scapegoat so that when they raise prices, people wouldn't jump and say it's your fault. But you can't have two things at the same time. You can't have, you just nailed it, Howard. Howard, you just nailed it.
They go, supply chain issues, balderdash.
No. You nailed it.
Deregulation. Right. If you want to point a finger to who is responsible for the inflation wave, try deregulation. They deregulated everything, and now they get to charge whatever they want to, and they screw you to the wall.
Exactly.
So that's
exactly
what I.
Anyway, folks, so he nailed it. The GCR, it's not inflation; it is the corporate greed rate. And what we have to do going forward is turn off any program you hear talking about inflation and doing what Howard just talked about. It's the supply chain. It's all these things. All of that is our excuses from corporate greed. Again, you would not. Before I get into the subject and officially open the show, I want to say this. Whenever you hear on TV, you hear it on 60 Minutes, you hear it on every news program, supply chain problem. They want you to pay for a supply chain problem. But how did the supply chain problem come about for the parts that are true? We didn't have supply chain for for limes or lemons or orange or beef or all those things. Supply chain problems only occur if it's from overseas. We have enough transportation and everything working in America that for beef and chicken and all these different issues, there should not have been a supply chain problem. But what happens is there are distinct things that come from overseas that did create a supply chain problem. But why did that problem occur? That problem occurred because we, in our infinite wisdom, not we, the executives in their infinite wisdom, decided that they were going to fire American workers and go take a lot of our manufacturing and all these things overseas. And in the process, and I want you to listen to this well, because this is the job of the executive. They are the ones who do this. And then you pay the price. And so many of you then defend the corporate state. Listen to what they did. They fired American workers. They created manufacture overseas. Now, here's an intelligent thing to do would be, if you create manufacturing overseas, you better as hell have a large inventory in the United States to cover problems with hurricanes that prevent your products from being come to the United States, riots and wars that delay the product from coming to the United States, pandemics that can create supply chain issues to the United States. But you know what the corporate state did? The opposite. They added, here they go. They start to bring products from overseas. Then they create something called just-in-time inventory. That means to save money, one big cash payout to these guys. To save that money, what do? They create this thing called just-in-time inventory. What that means then is that as the ship docks in LA, as the ship docks in Houston, as the ship docks in Baltimore with the product that was made by in foreign lands after American workers were fired, those ships, as those containers leave those ships, they get to the factory just in time for the American workers who assemble it, or for the American workers who put it into the stores, for it to be there at that time. So they created just-in-time inventory, and they manufacture overseas that's more risky. And that is then they went to their boardrooms and said, "Look how smart we are. We just avoid paying taxes on inventory. We took a one-time profit from emptying out our in-time inventory so that, hey, we look good on paper." And then they get profits and stock buybacks and all these things for making horrendous decisions that ultimately affects us all. And those are some of the people that many on the right now and many neoliberals on the middle protect as being these titans of finance. We look at Elon Musk. Elon Musk was supposed to be this genius who makes electric cars and all of that, but he didn't really do his job, right? Because what made Elon Musk's Tesla successful is the credits that the guys who make cars that pollute could keep making cars that pollute by buying credits from who again? Elon Musk, to build electric cars. So this guy now has an inventory as large as one that can be seen from space. Why? It wasn't because Elon Musk is a genius. It's because Elon Musk was on the dole. Elon Musk was a welfare recipient. And we like to call Elon Musk this smart businessman that's a billionaire. There are two classes in this country, folks. Two classes. The work and a very tiny executive class that actually makes all the bad decisions that harm us all. And we have people who are protecting them by trying to stop unions from existing, etc. So that was just a preamble to the program because of Jack and Howard bringing in some darn intelligent comments that needed addressing immediately.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.